It's 6:11. I want you to take a look at some of this video coming out of Libya showing the destruction following those torrential rains there. That caused two dams to burst. As of this morning, more than 5,000 people are presumed dead, and another 10,000 are unaccounted for, according to authorities. Emergency workers have recovered 1,500 bodies in the city of Derna. Much of the coastal city is destroyed, with entire neighborhoods swept away.
Y'all doing Click World fam, YouTube gang. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Trey. Welcome to the channel. Please subscribe. Door is open and like the video. Okay, so we had a situation in Libya just over last night. Very devastating news coming through. Over 5,000 people have been killed and more than 10,000 missing. And just looked over the situation in earthquake in Morocco. Did a video about that, and you already know. Let's just go into it without further ado. And remember to like the video, man, so other people can get the information. And above all, trust in God, okay? Because things are very uncertain these days, and you never know when a devastation could come our way, so we have to pray. And condolences to the people of Libya as well. Praying for them as well. So let's go into the news reports, okay?
I want you to take a look at some of this video coming out of Libya showing the destruction following those torrential rains there. That caused two dams to burst. As of this morning, more than 5,000 people are presumed dead, and another 10,000 are unaccounted for, according to authorities. Emergency workers have recovered 1,500 bodies in the city of Derna. Much of the coastal city is destroyed, with entire neighborhoods swept away. A hurricane-like storm triggered the flooding, hammering Libya's coast and dumping 16 inches of rain. Climate change experts say a big factor in these storms is the fact that the atmosphere has grown warmer and wetter, making them more destructive. The United States is sending emergency funds to relief organizations to help support Libya. I want you to take a look at some of this video coming out of Libya showing the destruction following those torrential rains there. That caused two dams to burst. As of this morning, more than 5,000 people are presumed dead, and another 10,000 are unaccounted for, according to authorities. Emergency workers have recovered 1,500 bodies in the city of Derna. Much of the coastal city is destroyed, with entire neighborhoods swept away. A hurricane-like storm triggered the flooding, hammering Libya's coast and dumping 16 inches of rain. Climate change experts say a big factor in these storms is the fact that the atmosphere has grown warmer and wetter, making them more destructive. The United States is sending emergency funds to relief organizations to help support Libya.
What is happening in Libya is becoming a big tragedy, especially after Storm Daniel hit that region. We are talking about the kind of flooding that has happened in that area because of the freakish weather. Two dams have burst, the rivers have in fact burst their seams, and entire towns have been dragged to the sea. Even rescue workers on the ground are telling us that it is very difficult to determine whether they are able to do the rescue work because there is a lot of silt, damaged buildings, debris, and at the same time they are worried whether they will be able to get survivors from this area. Egypt and Turkey has been pushing in a lot of teams for the rescue efforts that are being carried out in Libya. Also, mind you, Tripoli, the administration from where the Libyan administration in fact operates from, that particular region, it is yet to grapple.
Guys, I just had to stop here to say that this is very devastating, to say the least, and I just think things are escalating where it comes to these weather situations, earthquake and all of that. So I'd implore y'all to watch the video until the end, because we can't just take everything at face value. And saying we already got warning from the Most High, so we have to look into every angle of this. Understand me? Okay, let's go into the rest of the video.
With the kind of tragedy that we are looking at, Libya is yet to become politically stable. There are significant groups who are there who are trying to vie for influence and also are armed to a significant extent. These towns and cities that were close to the coastal areas are the ones that have in fact faced the brunt. These visuals show you how the river was in spate, especially in the urban centers, and how it dragged in through these areas, causing this kind of a tragedy. Rescue teams, as I said, in Libya are in fact struggling to retrieve bodies from these regions. Some of the people, bystanders, have been saying that this was a tsunami-like situation that they faced. Libya is not known for the kind of flooding that it witnessed recently. There have been reports of flash floods that used to happen from the desert regions, and the infrastructures of these cities and coastal towns was enough to carry the water towards the sea. But there have been a cumulative failure of 2 dams that resulted in this huge tragedy. As I was saying, some of the eyewitnesses said that this was a tsunami-like event that hit them. One of the epicenters of the disaster is the town of Derna. Now in Derna, it is being said that 25% of the neighborhood has been completely washed away, and a significant part of it has been eroded into the sea. This is the tragedy that is unfolding. It's not only in Derna, nearby cities as well. Even Benghazi has in fact reported cases of complete disaster. Another visual that in fact points out to what we are significantly saying. This is the aftermath of the situation of flooding in that region. You can see how the cars have been turned, the roads have been completely destroyed. The sea has also eroded significantly into the place. We have seen the city infrastructure completely destroyed. These are drain pipes and water pipes that were associated with the neighborhoods there. Many of them said that the foundation stones of the houses, the apartments, and of the roads were completely eroded out. And those visuals, in fact, show the kind of tragedy that we are, in fact, seeing. These are visuals of the flooded streets in the area. And we can see how the volunteers from the Red Crescent, who were the first responders on the ground, they were the ones who were in fact struggling to keep some of the areas afloat. This is how the storm Daniel in fact has significantly affected the region. As you can see, these are the big issues that the Libyan state is in fact facing. Some of the roads towards these coastal towns and cities have been hit. What we understand is when it comes to Derna, the town which is in fact facing the biggest problematic result of this particular storm, the tragedy that is unfolding, it is very difficult to even get an aid, as at least 11 roads leading to the city have been destroyed. So the only option for ensuring that some kind of aid reaches the place is to have helicopters hovering around the town and dropping in food packets to medicinal packets. And you can see these pictures coming in from that city. You can see how much of silt has been put forward as well. There, as I was saying, the first responders have been the Red Crescent volunteers, and they are the ones who have been carrying out with the rescue with the limited resources that they have. And silt formation and destruction of buildings in that area has been one of the significant aspects of it. Meanwhile, it is being said that 10,000 people have gone missing in this city. 10,000 is the number that has been put with regards to the number of people who have gone missing in that region. And it is also being said that at least 2,300 people have been killed in this particular tragedy. It is also being said that according to the history of the area, many of them have never seen this kind of rain in their living memory. So a lot of people have been taken aback at the unfolding nature of tragedy. Here again, as I was saying, rescue workers dragging in bodies from areas where people have been completely swept away. Most of them were in the...
So the other report I'm going to go into, this was recorded roughly around 4 months ago, before the so-called rainy season in South Sudan, and we definitely see that climate change, or whatever they want to call it, is a factual and real thing, whatever the cause may be, because we have people that dispute it, and we have people that don't think that whatever they say is a cause is plausible. But I know a lot of people might have a lot of fun going on the beach, visiting, going for vacation and stuff, but for whoever who lives near what would they call it, the shores, or familiar with beaches over like the last 20 years, 15 years, can attest to the fact that there has been a water is rising. You know what I mean? It's kind of scary if you ask me. So the implications definitely will affect most people and generations to come. So I definitely like the way ABC put this forth. As I said, this is 4 months ago, and to think that there is a civil war with the government of, I don't know if it's Sudan or South Sudan, whatever, but yeah, it's in that region, and there's this paramilitary fighting against the government, displacing a lot of people, and there's just famine in that area, guys. For real, you can check it out, do some research for yourself. Whatever I may say, other than giving you the reports, is my opinion, and it's alleged. Do your own research, and don't take my word for granted. Don't take my word for it. You know what I mean? So I want to say shout out to David Muir. Seems like a genuine guy. He went in and got this beautiful report for us, and I'm gonna play most of the video because I want y'all to get the whole scope of what is happening. You know what I mean? As I said, like the video, because this channel is heavily shadow banned because of a lot of the content that we do, but we're not gonna stop anyways. You know what I mean? Everything is on God. Put our trust in Him, and I really appreciate y'all if y'all watching up to this point. You know what I mean? Yo, thank you very much for doing so, and please watch till the end because I have some more. Just for those of y'all who didn't watch the Morocco quake video, I just put a little bit of, you know what I mean, the conspiracy, what we think going on, because I just don't think that, you know what I mean, and we already know they don't like us, the whole implications for climate change other than the greenhouse gases, which they ain't doing nothing about. They're still bullshitting, doing the same. And the other fault, the other cause they think is too many people on this earth, and that's just a fact, guys. They out to get us. So yeah, let's get into it, man. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. I won't even do too much talking after this.
We turn overseas tonight into our reporting trip to South Sudan. Tonight, what we witnessed on the ground, there is an urgent effort underway to get food and aid into a country that knows war. But right now, they're in a battle against something else, a changing climate. Tonight here, the new emergency now unfolding. The only route in, bringing aid in from Sudan, has now been halted because of the deadly violence to the north that began while we were in the region. Tonight in South Sudan, the aid workers who say we must do something, they say children's lives are at stake. We land in South Sudan, where we are told there is an urgent effort to get to more than 1 million people in desperate need because of climate. The UN truck's waiting. We head out with the World Food Program, traveling down the only road in, carrying aid from Sudan. And we're there as the last convoy makes it in from Sudan before the deadly violence breaks out to the north. Mud walls holding the water back. And then the only way to get to so many of the families here is by boat. What's happening here is staggering. Climate change making the extremes here, the drought and the floods, only more extreme. 4 years in a row now of historic flooding. The waters unable to recede. This is a very common sight here after 4 years of relentless rains. This is a tiny piece of land completely surrounded by the waters here, an island in and of itself. And these are the families that have stayed behind to continue to raise their children here. But what do they feed the children here with no land to farm on anymore? We are told the water lilies. And then we see her, a mother in the distance. The haunting sounds, the coughing, the quiet splashing in the water, the determined work in stagnant, dangerous floodwaters. The water nearly to her chest, reaching down to pull out the water lilies and their bulbs. This mother, reaching down so far, she is nearly underwater herself. It is what they do for their children. And this mother, who proudly shows the bulbs to us. They dry them and pound them into paste to feed them to their children. Mothers are feeding their children water lilies.
Unfortunately, they are. It is a coping mechanism because they do not have enough food.
How do they get any food when they're completely surrounded by water?
That is a biggest challenge that they are facing here, the availability of food. Before they had land where they could cultivate food, but now they are completely cut off.
Families cut off with so little land and no livestock. It's just a stunning sight to see the cows out here in the middle of the water. This used to be farmland before the floods. The livestock, it's impossible to know just how much has been lost during these floods, but you can see they're nothing but skin and bones, these cows here, still searching for something to eat and basically marooned out here in the middle of the water. We meet 3 siblings on the water. What do you have there? They tell us they have gathered grass and sticks.
They're saying they're trying to take them to town so that they could sell it.
And what will people use it for?
She's saying that they're going to use them to construct their homes.
And they're now bringing it now to where most people are on the other side of the dike, hoping to sell it for people building homes on the other side of the flood. We make it to one of the islands, the children at the water's edge, many of them with bellies that signal the emergency. The woman who greets us with a smile. Hello. As we head to find the makeshift clinic here. We're told of the families on this island who have come to the nutrition center for help, and you can see the mothers and their children here. They're waiting to be screened, but they have all brought their children here for help. This little boy among the children here, a hint of a smile. All of them waiting for help.
Women bring their children here.
Achal Chand is the head of nutrition for the World Food Program here in South Sudan.
The nutrition assistant will now measure the child's upper arm.
They are trying to determine the level of malnutrition.
He's marking the child's arm to get the midpoint of the upper arm.
The mother and her baby, who is just 1. What did you find?
I find that this child is malnourished.
Malnourished. We ask her, how did she feed her child before today? What are you able to feed your child?
She's saying that they only feed her water lilies.
Water lilies. And we learn here that the children most at risk have been brought here to the state hospital in Bentu. Children on the brink of starvation. And we see it. The 9-year-old boy, John Chol, drinking water, and then slowly falling back down onto his bed. And we learn of the young mother, her baby, just 40 days old, a little more than a month, weighing less than 4 pounds.
You must be relieved that your baby is doing much better.
She's saying yes.
Yes, she says. Her newborn son and his tiny grip, a sign of hope here. These children, they say, are the innocent victims of climate change.
Cause of the climate change.
You think it's because of the climate change?
That is what I can say so.
I mean, the land has changed.
The land is over flooded. The land is flooded, actually. There is no area for cultivation. And that is because of the climate change.
Out on those tiny slivers of land, they look for the children most at risk. Grace Nyakoth is from here. She now works for the World Food Program.
What do you make of the change in climate?
It's only a few weeks to rainy season, and this might worsen with time as it is. It's all flooded everywhere.
And you haven't even begun wet season, rainy season?
The rainy season is only 2 weeks to 3 weeks.
From now?
From now.
We're on the front lines right here of climate change.
Yeah, no, I think there's no question. This is the front lines. This is where we're seeing a change that's not just one extreme event.
Bill Nall monitors the change in climate for the World Food Program.
After 1 year, you might think you can come back and start again. But after 4 years of cumulative flooding, I think people are starting to think that this is a long-term change.
Have you ever seen anything like this?
No. I never imagined anything quite at this scale.
Scientists and researchers with the UN have studied the wet season growing more extreme here. From 2019 to 2020, the waters that did not recede. And then 2021, 2022, and this is now. They say the wetlands have tripled in size in just 4 years. And as we're on the ground here, we see it. The people here know what's coming again in just weeks. We witness an extraordinary scene. The women building a mud wall by hand, a dike, to hold any new floodwaters back, to try to reclaim some of their land. They are up against overwhelming challenge, and yet still a smile on this woman's face.
If you look over my shoulder here, you can see the very top of somebody's hut where a family once lived. And once you recognize what that is, you can see it sort of peppering the landscape here, the water's edge. Home after home just completely destroyed.
In fact, the water so deep in some places, the World Food Program uses amphibious vehicles to get to communities hardest to reach. We travel with them as they pass by old villages no longer. And when we finally get there, hours into this journey, the children running toward us. And something unexpected, we hear the children's voices. The singing under the tree. These are the school children here, and this is where they now hold their class. We see them sitting on little pots, old cans, buckets. The children are always the most resilient. We witnessed it everywhere we went. The little girl and her fist bump.
Hi.
And then all of the children who wanted in too. These little smiles and their waves, this is what keeps the aid workers going here. The children still learning, still singing, the faces of hope.
When will this planet come back?
It's here.
It's already in the area.
Oh yes, right now it's in conjunction. It is behind the sun. It's coming up. It came up in the direction towards the sun's, say, 7:30 position.
Okay.
Now, when it comes out from behind, it'll be around the 1:30 position. And
will we be able to see it then?
Yeah. And when we see it, if you're not prepared, I mean, frankly, when we do see it, people are going to be standing out in the street. They're going to be pointing up at the sky.
You'll be able to see it like that?
Oh, yeah. You're going to see it. It's a melancholia scenario. Jeez. It's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger because this thing is going to come around from behind the sun and cross over our orbit above us and ahead of us. And, you know, there's a gentleman, Bob Dean, government whistleblower. He's one of my heroes. I mean, I just love this guy.
Yeah, good guy.
And I think in 2008 on Project Camelot, he made a prediction. He said, according to my sources, it is going to, when we are going to be on the same side of the sun as the Planet X system when it goes into its aphelion leg. That's when it's going back south.
Okay.
And that is when it's really going to be jamming, you know.
And jamming meaning doing
Fast.
things to us?
To the sun, to us. First off, let me just explain the Planet X system.
Okay.
Nemesis is the dark star, all right? And it hasn't been visible for a very long time to the naked eye because it's shrouded in iron oxide dust.
Okay.
This is from its creation.
And where would that be now, that binary star?
That binary star is beyond the orbit of Jupiter, behind our sun.
And that's why we can't see it.
We can't see it. Now, interestingly enough, there are 3 planets that we talk about in our book. There could be more, but we're only talking about the major bodies that are going to present a problem for Earth.
All right.
And be involved in the pole shift event.
Okay.
Now, these planets are, the innermost one is Helion.
Helion.
Helion is a gaseous, bright planet. It's uninhabited.
This is traveling with
Nemesis.
Nibiru or whatever.
Well,
we're going to call
Nibiru
it.
is the 3rd planet out.
That's the one where the Anunnaki apparently came
That's
from.
right.
Okay.
There's Nemesis the star,
Right?
Helion, Arbota, Nibiru. Helion has a moon, which we named Harrington in name of this astronomer.
Okay.
And we have a moon for Nibiru, which we named Farada.
They only have like one moon each?
That's right. These
Okay.
2 planets, Arbota does not have a moon. Arbota is inhabited by a slave species.
Oh yeah. That's planet Nibiru, bro. That's planet Nibiru. That's not the moon. It's not the sun. That's planet Nibiru. We're fucked. Did you see that shit?
Going around. Streets like gone.
The fuck is that?
Hey guys, I played both of these videos already, but I specifically put them back here because back in I think 2012, 2013, me and my cousin was going to the store and we saw this thing in the sky. It was really huge, you know what I mean? You know, we don't steer into the sun, but it wasn't. It was bigger than the sun, and I would probably think it maybe was a dark star, because trust me, even up to now, it's unexplainable to me. Probably just a vision. Most I said in the last days we would see signs in the sky. My cousin was there to attest he saw it. I was like, bro, what's that? And he was like, yo, I don't know. Feel me? And this other one I saw once ago, I think back in 09. I can remember the dates. Not the dates, but the year, because of significant things that happened during those time. And back in 09, I saw these probably looking like this, but it was more probably about 10 to 12 way up in the sky. I was in a vehicle and I just saw it through the windscreen, like up, and I tilted my head forward and was looking at it. Probably, you know what I mean? Back then I was probably thinking asteroids or whatever, but they were flowing in a uniform just like this. And now I definitely know that it's some sort of crafts. Yeah, earlier this year again too, I saw this thing like a fireball passing during the night. I see a lot of things during the night, guys. You know what I mean? And it definitely wasn't like shaped like a ball. It's more like a human, I guess, because it was so bright you can't see the no hands or feet or whatever. But it wasn't. It was like probably 50 feet away in the sky, floating past, or more. Because most times I go to the store, it's like they are monitoring me or whatever. It's during the night, you can see, you know what I mean? They look like stars. I would say it's a star, but someone was there to explain that in another video. Guys, just stay tuned because these things are out here. And enjoy the rest of the video. I'd have to go down and that's for another video. I definitely do that because that light beam too, I see that some video showing them in Peru, but a guy got a picture or two, and who knows, because the person was there at the store who I just thought I could show. They were the first person I saw like look, and the person was like staring at it. I explained that it's aliens, demons, whatever, angels. Some are good, some are bad. You feel me? I don't know if it's good or bad because even Satan can appear as a son of light. So let's just enjoy the rest of the video. Smash a like if you haven't yet, and subscribe to the channel, y'all. Appreciate you coming through.
Chinese spy balloon.
Chinese spy balloon. Balloon.
There are only 6 solar systems out of the whole Snake Nebula in the system of the Pleiades or Orion that are bad or negative. And the United States had to choose one of their little moon individuals to make an agreement with. Once you make a pact with the devil or backward life forms, you're bound to work it out best you can. And nobody else is going to touch it. The United States invited a cancer and stated, since the cancer was very honest, and stated, we will give you the technology you want, and that's why you're finding technology speeding up so fast now in both the Soviet Union and the United States. But we want your life. We want your life force. We want your people. And that's when people begin to be abducted by aliens with the government's knowledge, begin to be put into research laboratories down in Dulce, New Mexico, and that's one of the worst places right now on Earth, and begin to invade what is called the Pentagon and other places on Earth and begin to take over, clone, implant the world's leaders, especially those that have signed an agreement with them because they said, which the United States government didn't know that was their privilege, because that's the way they live, off of other energy creatures in the universe. That is their existence. That's why they're great. They turn kind of a greenish color when they're full and fed. The old witches of the 15th century, the hook-nosed witches, are simply their ancestors, which were called the hook-nosed race.